Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the wonderful Neuqua Valley High School. Go Wildcats. This is Mr. Dickin with yet another little video installment on how to do some stat calculations and graphical representations on our graphing calculators. So, in this one, I'm going to show you guys how to make a nice, pretty little box and whisker plot. Box and whisker plots are great for giving us 5-number summaries, which indicate min, a max, a first and third quartile, and of course the median. So first let me go ahead into my stat menu, and I'm going to go to the edit. Here I just have the list of that pulse rate data from page 4 in our packets. So if you guys want to have this entered, feel free. It's in your packets, or if you just want to watch the video, have at it. If you're going to enter the data, go ahead and pause here if needed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press stat, and I want to get my one variable statistics. So I'm going to scroll over to the calculations menu and hit one var stats. Now I should make mention that if you have a TI-83 or even an older TI-84, you're not going to have this little menu. Instead, it's just going to say one var stats with a little parenthesis after it. If that's the case, go ahead and hit L1, enter in L1. And again, L1 is right up above the 1 here, so you press second, then L1. And then hit enter, and it will calculate for you. For this case, I'm just going to go straight down to calculate. We don't have any frequency lists in there. Nothing shows up multiple times. So I hit calculate, and bam, there's my one variable statistics. I get my mean, the average, the sum, so sigma x, the sum of all the data values. We'll discuss these three here at a later date. N is how many total data values I had in that list. And then as I scroll down, these guys right here tell me my 5-number summary. The min, first quartile, median, third quartile, and the max. These guys right here are what I need if I want to make a box and whisker plot. So let's go ahead and do that. To do this, I'm going to hit second and then stat plot. I'm going to put all of this on my stat plot 1. You guys probably had this as a histogram earlier. If that was the case, when it goes down to type, go ahead and scroll over from histogram onto this box whisker. Now you guys will notice that there are 2 different options for box and whiskers. I like to choose that first one because as you can see, it's got those 2 little dots. That means it's going to show me my outliers. So it makes it nice and easy where my outliers are. X list, my data is in L1, so I'll keep it as L1. Frequency, I'm going to leave as 1 since everything just shows up once. We didn't have a separate frequency list. Next is the markings. What do we want to represent the outliers? I would highly suggest leaving it as this empty square. If you really want, you can do the plus sign. It doesn't really make a difference more aesthetically than anything. These last 2 I would avoid just because they're a little bit harder to see and you might accidentally overlook. And last but not least, change the color if you want. I have mine set at magenta. Magenta looks pretty neat. I'm going to leave it. So when we graph this, I'm going to make sure my zoom setting is ready for my stat data. So again, that's option 9. So I'm going to scroll down or just press 9 for zoom stat. It's going to bring me to my graph and shabam! We have a lovely box and whisker. Now when we do this, I can see the general shape. I can see that I have an outlier way out here on the left-hand side, but I don't really have any specifics. Well, just like we did before with the histograms, if I press trace, it's going to start me off in the median, and I can go left and right to figure out what all of these different points of interest are. So if I go left 1, I'm going to be at quartile 1, the first quartile. That's at 61.5. If I go left 1 more, I have just a generic X of 47. Now, this is what I like to call the sort of min. Technically, this guy over here, and we'll figure out what this guy is in a second, technically this is the minimum of our data. However, it's clearly an outlier. It doesn't really fit in with the rest of the data with what we have as the mean and the median in the interquartile range. So we're going to use the next smallest data point to graph as our sort of min. If I go over here, I see the true minimum was 21. However, that was an outlier. So we don't really include that. We don't make our whisker go all the way out there. I can do the same thing going to the right. Quartile 3 and my maximum value are all given to me. So if I wanted to transfer this onto a sheet of paper, all I have to do is draw a nice little horizontal line, preferably with a straight edge, label up an axis, and draw my box whisker plot, and I'm good to go. So that's it, and that's all, ladies and gents. As always, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask in class or shoot me an email, or if I don't have you in class, feel free to ask your teacher. Have an awesome day.